6, a helping hand with your land.
Neil from Essex here. Today's 3-Minute Thursday. Today we're going to have a short conversation about John Deere's Frontier line of implements and the general practice in our industry of relabeling other companies' stuff. Now, while I'm going to rip on Frontier today because this is the most egregious example of what we're going to talk about, let me be very clear that every brand in this industry does this to some fashion. It's just that Frontier has taken it to a whole new level. This video came about because I was following Facebook groups and that kind of thing, and I saw frequently guys asking for people's opinions on a particular Frontier attachment and what they think of it, and guys responding with, Frontier's usually pretty good stuff. The interesting thing about Frontier as a line within John Deere's product family is that none of the 600 or so attachments that are under the Frontier label are actually made by Deere in any way, shape, or form. It is simply other people's stuff painted green with stickers on the side. And the interesting thing is that those 600 odd attachments are sourced from over 30 different companies. So they're coming from all over the place. So if you're gonna say, does Frontier as a brand make good stuff? It's very difficult to say that because you have this huge variety of sourcing companies and really in a huge variety within those companies on whether they're kind of a premium brand or a real economy brand. So there's very little consistency in this family of whether it's good stuff or cheap stuff. So to give you a couple of specific examples of particular models and what they equate to, we can go through and look at the Frontier 3418 rotary hay rake. It's actually a Peckway 4101. The rear blade, an RB 2072, you'll find is a Woods RBS 72. Their sickle bar mowers, the SB 3106, and Rossi sickle bar mower, their BF series mower. Their carded wheel rakes, the ones that start with WR, come from a line called Tatuni. There's a Frontier chipper in there, a WC 1105. I'm not sure the exact manufacturer of that, but I get it as a Peckway CX 551. And those examples will go on and on with rotary cutters coming from a company called Tater, pieces coming from another company called Dirt Dog, another from Toughline. The list goes on and on. What makes this a little more unique than most other manufacturers is when most other vendors are doing this, by and large, they're usually doing it with a line that's not readily available across the marketplace. So if you look at virtually any small tractor company's front implements, their blades, their snow blowers, those kinds of things, they largely come from a company in Canada called Rad, but you can't go and just buy Rad implements directly. That is different in all of these Frontier pieces because you can go to every one of these companies and buy the implement straight from them without paying an extra middleman. It also is something you should be aware of when it comes to long-term support. So if you need parts, you're generally going to get easier and better parts support and better priced parts most of the time by going directly to the manufacturer rather than having another company sit in the middle. I did a little bit of research on this and actually dove into the parts system, and I never saw anything that was going to come out cheaper by buying it through Deere. For the most part, you're going to pay a little bit more, to some cases significantly more, for those parts, and it varied all over the place. I couldn't find a whole lot of consistency. It is interesting that they don't keep the same part numbers, so they've not made this an easy thing to track down. The part numbers between the Deere system and the OEM system are completely different, but a lot of times you'll notice the same images and stuff in the parts catalogs being used, so you know you're looking at exactly the same thing. So speaking as a dealership that carries several major lines of equipment, we'd have, say, 5 or 6 companies in this business that would be considered majors and will represent 200 to 300 small companies that make attachments. We would always say, if we're painting with a broad brush, that we can provide the best level of support for long-term parts support, warranty claims, those kinds of things, when we're dealing directly with the company who actually made a product versus another one who just chose to buy it from somebody else and slap some stickers on the side. You can very easily see why that is. Part support is just much better controlled, and when there's warranty claims and issues, you're not going and blaming another company down the line for a problem. You're talking to the guys that are actually at hand, or responsible at hand. So By and large, anytime that you can avoid these kinds of manufactured relationships, you're always going to be ahead. And so, by and large, I wouldn't say that it's ever a good idea to be buying products out of this line when you can buy them for the same price somewhere else. The one exception to that may be, and we will continually say this, comes down to dealerships. So if your only good viable dealership happens to be one selling the Frontier line or another one of these manufacturer relationships, if you just feel good about the dealership, the people, the parts support, those kinds of things, I absolutely would choose that over going to, say, a particular line from a place that just doesn't have a very good reputation as a dealership. So if you're going through the buying process for an attachment and we can help, or if you have parts or service needs for machines and attachments that you've already got, give us a call at Messick's. We're available at 800-222-3373 or online at messicks.com. You'll also notice as excuse me. I feel like something's burning. Like, something's not just right here. The ergonomics are all just messed up. The key switch right here is off of a Cub Cadet lawn tractor.